Blood for the blood god, skulls for the throne of corn. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Once again, it's time for another episode of Chaos Training, and today is leg day. I've decided, because I have a safety squat bar and I'm not even that worried about building my max squat right now with a stiff bar, I'm like, let me just go back over to the safety bar. Yes, it is really difficult. Yes, I can't use as much weight, and particularly beltless, it is super hard. But I still feel my quads. It will also prepare my back and stuff later for if I want to do some heavy squats or powerlifting again, because I get really good transfer out of this bar, particularly to a higher bar type squat. So yeah, it's almost an embarrassingly light amount of weight that I'm using. Like, I'm just going to be honest, what I have to use on this bar beltless, if I sink it to full depth in these Olympic shoes, it's embarrassing, but I feel my quads. Because yeah, sets of 5 with 310, and then I did a triple with 330, and they were hard. Like the first set, I felt like I had a rep left, but the next couple of you guys will notice that I'm being pulled forward by the bar on the last rep. And usually that's indicative for me that if I try another rep, I have to take like a 4 or 5 second break before I try it, or I'm going to fail it, because I'm going to end up getting pitched forward and get stapled. Now, is that back weakness, or is that just quads not strong enough? We could argue about that all day. But I do feel a ton of lower back when I use this bar. Another reason I'm doing ab work every single day. I've even been doing some crunches and stuff off camera, just at night. I could lay down in bed, sometimes I like to do a couple hundred crunches. So I've got to get my abs stronger, got to get my core stronger so that I can keep doing this beltless training, because the beltless training is challenging. But by that same token, I'm not worried on my squat if it becomes, the limiting factor at the moment, because I'm doing all these other movements. And I felt like my quads got a really good pump, so I'm pushing these weighted sissy squats, and then I'm pushing the single leg extensions. So with these, I pretty much went up on it. I'm getting stronger on this. This first set, I couldn't figure out why it felt so weird till I saw the camera, of course. You guys can kind of see what's going on there. Like, I'm over on the edge, I didn't get centered correctly. So this set was kind of hard. I ended up doing my 13 reps with it anyways. So I did 13 on the first two, and I'm like, let's grab a 55 and see what we can get. Let's see if we can get 10 plus reps. So I did that. And then I realized, I think I'm only going to do around 10 sets for my quads today, 10 really hard sets, because those squats were pretty well limit sets, and I'm like, well, let's hit a couple different rep ranges. So the squats ended up being in the 3 to 5. I was hoping maybe I could get a little more reps with those weights, but again, that's all I could do beltless with that bar, and I accept that. But the thing is, as long as I build my quads and build my adductors and everything, my squat will go back up. Not that worried about it, right? Not that worried about it. Because I know that especially if I get strong with that safety bar, and then I go ahead and build my quads. Because the main thing is my back needs to be able to handle it if I build the quads. I don't have to load the same amount to squat it later. So Michael, let's just focus on getting jacked. But I like the safety bar. I think it's a good hypertrophy tool, mainly because it lets me get all the benefits of a back squat, but I don't have to crank my shoulders up into that position. So I can continue to work on the shoulder health, because for me, I'm really wanting to get that range of motion and mobility back, and I want to keep the inflammation down. And this week, I'm feeling nothing in my shoulders, no inflammation at all. I think it's because, again, I'm using only SSB for anything where I have to put the bar up on my back. So I don't have to stretch it, don't have to do anything. And I'm doing, trying to do full range of motion shoulder exercises. And I'm sticking with movement patterns that work for that. I think plus, because I'm doing the pullovers on chest day, that's going to continue to help, right? Which that allowed me to do the chin-ups and pull-ups again. So I feel like the beauty of when I'm training like this, purely for hypertrophy and my physique and aesthetics for a while, because that's really what I'm doing at this point, right? I don't have to get beat up by certain things that might bother me with the classic lifts, I don't have to get beat up by it at all. And I think if I have a really long phase where my shoulder mobility improves and I can keep the inflammation really low, I think my ranges of motion are going to improve, and I'm going to be able to probably grip the bar, place the bar any way I want on a back squat. Right, I'll be able to place it any way I want. And if I get the low back and everything strong enough, I'll be able to just belt up a low bar squat, a decently heavy weight anytime that I need to. So back over to these. These are almost nauseating for me, just because of the pump I get in my quads and everything. But yeah, my whole quad gets fatigued on this exercise, so I really like it. I ended up doing 10 and then 12 with that 55. And then I'm like, let's just do 3 sets of leg extensions to failure. In the first set, I guess it wasn't quite to failure. It started burning because the second and third set, I got more reps. So I took those to failure. So when I do this, I like to lead with the weak leg. I'm keeping it real strict, right? So that I don't have a lot of swinging to make it easier at the bottom. Because again, that will happen with the pendulum here because it's on roller bearing. So that's the thing with the reverse hyper. And this is really the only good way I have to do leg extensions. But I've noticed it works with a single leg. 2 legs it doesn't because it's too easy to cheat. Because you can pull the swing back and then you get inertia. But with the 1 leg, as long as you do it controlled, I am noticing the lack of cheating, and then I can focus on just getting that burn in the quads. And granted, it takes more time because you're doing 15 to 20 rep sets and then switching legs. But it works, and I can always add weight if I need to. Right, if I want to get it down to about 12, I can add weight as I get stronger. Because I think what's going to happen now, I think it's going to get harder on the sissy squats to add much more weight. Plus, again, I think the safe weight limit on that device is 330. And so, I'm weighing 216 at the moment. I don't know if I really want to grab 100 pounds of plates and get near that limit. So it's going to probably end up to where I get more and more and more reps. That's why another reason I don't mind squatting in the slightly lower rep range even with the SSB. Because actually high reps on that makes me really nauseated because of the nature of the bar. I can go a little bit heavy on it, right? Work on the strength just a little bit, and then hammer everything else with really high reps. Because again, those sissy squats are going to get higher. What's going to end up happening is there's going to reach a point where I'm doing 20 reps with that 55. And at that point, it's kind of like, where do we go up from there? I don't think doing 30 and 40 rep sets builds muscle that good. I don't care what some of the studies have shown. I've just not necessarily seen it. I don't know that I always believe it in spite of the data. So there's a point where you go, I don't know where we go from there. But I might say that, look, if I can squat reasonably heavy and then come in and do 20 rep sets with the 55, maybe my quads are as big as they need to be. Maybe they're as big as they need to be. But back over to these extensions. Again, I can do them slow and controlled with 1 leg, and that's really what we want. And I think we can tell I'm still losing fat up there. Obviously, I still have, the loose skin and the fat end around the waistline, but I feel like it is slowly improving. And when I'm sitting like that and you can't quite see it, you can just see the upper abs. I think we can tell that the leanness is definitely coming in. So again, just have to keep tightening up that waistline. And I don't know how light I'm going to need to get. I'm down to 216. I might have to drop to 200, to really look the way that I need to look. But I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. I'm not setting time frames for it. It's just a journey for me. I don't have an end date for any of that. So now let's just keep focusing on it, right? Week after week after week, and try to get there reasonably quickly. Obviously, I want to improve my physique and aesthetics pretty quick and get leaner. And really, at this point, the leanness is probably more important than gaining muscle in my weak links, right? Even though I do need to do both. So again, did these, and I did 1 set of hanging leg raises. My abs started cramping. I'm like, I don't know that I want to do another. One set's good. That still gives me 8 sets for the week of these, not counting any other crunches I do. So I'll live with it. So I just stopped there because, again, my abs were starting to cramp a little. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.